Hello, dear students. I welcome you on behalf of Sri Jayendra Rank Zone classes. Dear students, in previous class we have discussed about the pteridophytes' general characteristics and we have discussed the life cycle in detail. Now, in today's lecture, we are going to discuss the classification of pteridophytes. And when we talk about the classification of pteridophyte, these pteridophytes are divided into or classified into four classes mainly, and these four classes are named like the first class it is known as Silopsida, and the example which belong or pteridophyte which belong to this class is Silotum. Another is Lycopsida, and its example are Selagina and Lycopodium. The third class is Spinopsida, where Equisetum belongs to it, and Pteropsida is a last important advanced class in which the example which are included are Dryopteris, Pteris, Adiantum, etc., and which all are commonly termed as ferns. So these are the four main classes of pteridophyte. Now today we are going to discuss all these classes one by one in detail. And when we discuss this one by one in detail, first we are going to talk about the Silopsida. So now, if we talk about Silopsida in detail, then dear student, this is the most ancient vascular plant. So most ancient means old vascular plants are placed in this class. And this particular plants or this class or the plants of this class have many primitive characters. Many primitive characters like number one, plant body is differentiated into plant body is differentiated into stem, and this stem is known as rhizome, then scaly leaves, and rhizoids. Okay, so these three root-like structure are rhizoids, leaf-like structure or leaf structures are the scaly leaves, and the stem they have a rhizome, and that is the one particular important characteristic of this particular group. Now, if we talk about the example of this Silopsida, then we come to know that first example is Silotum, and Silotum is a considered as living fossil. It is a living fossil. Okay, and means this is the only plant which is surviving. If we talk about another example, then there is Rhinia and Horneo phyton. And this Horneophyton and Rhynia is fossil plant. Okay, these are fossil plant means they have died and they are fossilized, but Xylotum is the one plant which is surviving still now. Because of this, all other members are have been extinct. Because of this, we calling this Xylotum as a living fossil. Okay, so this is the first important class of this pteridophyte. And after this, we are going to discuss another important class, that is the Lycopsida. Now, if we talk here, so now another class which we are going to discuss, that is Lycopsida. And if we talk about Lycopsida, dear student, it is the second most important class, second class, and in this it is known that club mosses are included. Now here club mosses means club mosses here are included. Now in this plant body is differentiated into root, stem and leaves, and leaves. Okay, so that is the what characteristic feature. And another thing is here leaves are green and photosynthetic, green and photosynthetic, and known as trophophils. Okay, so this is the characteristics of this particular one. So these are known as trophophils. Okay, now apart from this, sporophylls are also found in this group. And if we talk, then we come to know that the sporophylls are also here found at the tip of plant, so are present at tip of plant. And if we talk in detail, then we come to know that this group is known as strobilus or cone. Now in this, some examples are important which we are going to discuss in Lycopsida. And in that, the first example of this Lycopsida group is the Lycopodium, on the name of which the name to particular class is given. Now this Lycopodium is known as common club moss, and this is a common club moss which is a medicinal plant and it is used as tonic in homeopathic medicines. Okay, so that is the one important example, that is lycopodium. Another important example of this class is Selaginella, and this Selaginella is also known as spike mox or resurrection plant, and that we will discuss. Now it is known as spike moss, but if we talk about Selaginella and with its diagram, if we discuss, then we come to know that Selaginella is a heterosporous pteridophyte, as we have discussed. It is heterosporous pteridophyte. Apart from this, in this, loose cone or strobilus is present, and one another thing is that it is a microphylous pteridophyte, so they have small sized leaves, that is microphyls. Okay, so that is found. Now after this, if we talk, then we can draw the diagram of Selaginella, and if we draw a Selaginella diagram, it is look like this. It usually grow horizontally. It is a main stem. This main stem shows branching, and in this you can see that leaves are found on this group. Now from where the branch originate, you will find a one branch is coming like this. Okay, and here at the top you will find a group of this sporophyll, and that is nothing but a strobilus or cone. Now here the like this particular structure are seen. Apart from this, you can see the presence of some root. You can see the presence of some root like this. Okay, so this are the nothing but roots. These are leaves, and this shows a branching. You can see this is a stem, and this is known as rhizophore or organ sui generis. Now, rhizophore or organ sui generis is not clearly having a structure of root or stem. because of we call it as organ sui generis. Okay, so this is the thing. Now in this, if we talk about the leaf of this Selaginella, then in leaf you will find a small leaf-like structure present at its base that is known as ligule. Means these are the ligulated leaves. These are ligulated leaves, and these ligulated leaves are found in case of this Selaginella, a heterosporous pteridophyte. Apart from this, if we talk about some characteristic of Selaginella, then we come to know that this Selaginella is resurrection plant, the resurrection plant, or we can say drought escaper. It is a drought escaper or a resurrection plant. And in this resurrection plant, we come to know that in this resurrection plant or drought escaper means they are ephemeral or short lived. Resurrection, why it is known as the resurrection or drought escaper? Because in drought they lose water and roll to form one ball like structure. On availability of water, this plant absorb water and again come in original state. So here this Selaginella is actually escaping a drought by forming a one ball like structure due to the loss of water from its whole body or leaves or a stem, and it is rolling and forming a one ball like structure. When water get available, all the plant organs will absorb water and then they will come into its original state. Apart from this, one species of Selaginella is there that is known as Selaginella bryopteris, and this Selaginella bryopteris is known as Sanjeevani. Apart from this Selaginella, the third example which we are going to discuss in this group, that is Isoetes. And the third example which is Isoetes, that is also known as Merlin grass. Okay, that Isoetes is the exceptional plant in pteridophyte that show secondary growth. Secondary growth means secondary xylem and secondary phloem formation, and secondary xylem is known as wood. So, show secondary growth in this particular exceptional plant, so wood formation can occur. So, these are some of the characteristic of the another class that is Lycopsida, and that are the examples of this. After this, we are going to discuss another class of this particular group, that is Spinopsida. And the third class which belongs to here, that is Spinopsida. This Spinopsida is the class in which horsetails are included. Horsetails are included. Apart from this, in this class also, the body of horsetails is differentiated into plant body is differentiated into root, stem, which is also known as rhizome, and scaly leaves. Apart from this, it is important that they have compact cone at apical part of aerial stem. At apical part of aerial stem. So if we take its example of horsetail, that is equisetum, and that equisetum is also known as pipe. Now if we draw the diagram of this equisetum, we come to know that this equisetum somewhat look like this. Now the question is, when we look at this equisetum and this look like this, there is a presence of strobilus at this particular end, and this strobilus is also known as cone. Apart from this, there is a some node, and on node you will find some scaly leaves, and these scaly leaves are like this. Okay, so like this the node will be found. This is node, you will see here, and this node is present here. So this is node here, and here the region between two nodes is known as internode. These are scaly leaves, and apart from scaly leaves you will find the particular presence of rhizome, which is underground stem. So this is the structure of this particular equisetum, and in equisetum one of the important feature is that the silica is present in epidermis of this plant. In this equisetum or horsetail of Spinopsibida, we will find the presence of equisetum, presence of silica in epidermis of this plant. And this silica is present in epidermis of these plants, and due to the presence of silica, due to silica, plant surface become rough, and due to this, if two horse tails collide, two horse tails collide, there is a there is a dangerous chance of fire in forest. Okay, so if they collide, they can are responsible for the causing a forest fire. So this is the about information about the equisetum, that is another important plant of this particular group, and that belong to the Spinopsida, that is the third class. Now after discussing this third class, we are going to particularly discuss one of the important class and the last class of this pteridophyte. So last class of this pteridophyta which we are going to discuss, that is Pteropsida, that is fourth class, which is named as Pteropsida. In this Pteropsida class, it is important that it is the largest group of pteridophyte. Means it is the largest class. It is the largest group of pteridophytes. The another thing is that we commonly call them as a fern. They are commonly called as fern. And it is known that most of the pteridophyte are fern. So dear student, the fern is one of the important members of this Pteridophyta and then belong to this class, that is Pteridopsida. Now if we talk about them, then it is known that in some of the example of this plant, you will find a presence of some multicellular hairs. Okay, so in this, one important structure is found in some of the pteridophytes or some of the ferns, that is known as ramenta. And if we talk about ramenta in this group, then ramenta are nothing but multicellular hair. They are multicellular hair, and these multicellular hair are present on young leaf. They are present on young leaf and young rhizome and young rhizome of ferns, and they are called ramenta. And this ramenta are mainly meant for protection of stem and young leaves, or from the, we can say, a mechanical injury. But the important thing is cone or strobilus, which we have seen in case of the Lycopsida and the Spinopsida, that cone or strobilus are not produced in ferns. That is one of the important thing. So these are the characteristic of this pteropsera. Now, if we talk about the examples of this group, then we come to know that the example of fern are the members of fern are number one, that is azolla. And if we talk about azolla, it is a aquatic fern and it is considered as the smallest pteridophyte. And this smallest pteridophyte or aquatic fern azolla, that is specifically known as used as biofertilizer, means its death is going to increase the content of some of the mineral content of soil, so it can be used as biofertilizer for the growth of some of the plant. Another example which is kept here, that is adiantum. And adiantum is one of the important example of this group, as it is known as walking fern. It is known as walking fern. Now, the important thing is that the name walking fern is given due to the rapid vegetative propagation. And this rapid vegetative propagation takes place by the means of leaf tips. So, because of this, it is known as a walking fern. So, adiantum is known as a walking fern because its vegetative reproduction, its vegetative reproduction take place by means of leaf tip. So its vegetative reproduction takes place by the leaf tip, and due to this, it spread very fast. Okay, so that is the adiantum. After this, the next example which are included in this, it is the Alsophylla, and it is known that Alsophylla is the tree fern, and it is considered as largest pteridophyte. Apart from this, some more example which are included here, that include Pteridium teres, Dryopteris, Marsilia, then Salvinia. So these are the example of this particular fern group. Okay. So dear student, this is the classes of, we can say, the pteridophytes. Now after classes, okay, so this is the examples of Pteropsida. Now in Pteropsida or in ferns like Dryopteris, stem is known to sin occur underground and which is known as rhizome. And this underground stem is look like this, and this underground stem which is growing and horizontally and trying to come out of the soil. And this underground rhizome specifically known as root stalk, that is unbranched rhizome, in case of Drapteris. Apart from this, dear student, the another thing is that large aerial leaves which are found in case of this Pteropsida or last group, which are generally pillatally compound, which are called fronds. So fronds are the large size leaves or megaphylls which are found in the ferns or the Pteropsida. And you can see on the ferns in this diagram that the sorus is present. So if sorus is present, that it has the ability to produce spore. So it is a fertile frond. But it's a sterile frond as it does not have a particularly sorus. So young leaves show a succinate. Now one of the important point is shown in case of the Pteropsida is that its young leaves show a succinate, that is the coiling of the tip of the particular this one, and succinate vernation, that is the coiling of the tip to the base. You can see this is the tip coiling occur and it is known as succinate vernation. Now apart from this, the petiole are covered with a brown multicellular hairs which are the ramenta, which we have discussed already, which are found on the stem or young leaves. The leaflets show a open dichotomous and furcate venation. Means the leaflet show a dichotomous. Dichotomous means the particular leaflet show branching into two. Then it is known as dichotomous. And if it further show the branches into, then it is known as dichotomous. But furcate venation is that the branches are formed, but branches of veins do not form network. So branches or veins are present, but veins are not interconnecting and forming a network. So if they form a network, then it is known as reticulate venation. But in this, they are not going to form a network. Suppose this is a leaf or leaflet. In this, these are the veins, and these are the vein branches. But this vein branches is not forming a particular network. So because of this, it is known as furcate venation. Apart from this, the sporangia are formed on the ventral or lower surface of the leaf. The sporangia are formed on the lower surface of the leaf in group, and these are called sori. Okay, so you can see these are the occurring on the lower surface or ventral surface. Okay, apart from this, each sorus is covered by a membranous sheath of its own, and it is known as true inducium. See, this is the particular sorus and covered by the particular membranous covering that is known as these are sporangia. And this is a true inducium. Inducium is nothing but a sheet-like structure which cover the sporangia. Okay, and this sporangium produce a water spore. The anthrozoid in fern are generally spirally coiled and multiciliated, that multiflagellated we have discussed. In some fern like terrace, each sorus is protected by a reflexed margin of the fertile leaflet. If the fertile leaflet is there and its margin are showing curving or coiling and protecting the sorus, then this fertile leaflet coiling of margin is known as false inducium. You can see this is the particular example of a false inducium. Margins are showing a coiling, and this is the false inducium which occur here. Apart from this, and what is true inducium? True inducium is the directly covering which is occurred at the base, or okay, and it is true. Margin is occurring, then it is a false, particularly okay. So this is till now what we have discussed, that is the classification, the classes. Now in this we are going to discuss one small topic of a stele in this, and the stele may be. So first, what is a stele? That we have to understand. And if we go on understanding the stele, we have to understand the cross section of the stem. So if we take a cross section of the stem, you will come to know that the outermost covering which occur here, that is epidermis, and inner to epidermis you will find a presence of cortex. Inner to cortex, you will find endodermis. Inner to endodermis, you will find a pericycle. And inner to pericycle, you will find a vascular tissue. When you will take a cross section. And in vascular tissue, centrally you will find a presence of pith. So now if we talk about stele, then stele consists of all the tissues which are present inner to the endodermis. Stele consists of stele consists of all tissue layer present inner to endodermis. Means it consists of pericycle, vascular tissue and pith. So pith is also a part of this stele. Okay. So these three combinedly form stele. I am writing this pith here so you can understand it better way. Okay. So this is centrally pith is located here. These three combinedly form a stele. Okay. Now this is of various type. So the stele may be first one protostele, and in protostele means central core is in core internally xylem surrounded by the phloem. So what do you mean by protostele? The protostele is the simplest type and it is without pith. Protostele means what? It is without pith. Means pith is absent when is it consists of vascular tissue. Okay, and apart from that they have a pericycle. So here you can see phloem and xylem, and here xylem is present centrally, so it covers the pith region and covered it by the phloem. And apart to the phloem, you will find surrounding the pericycle also. You will find surrounding to this pericycle. But the important of the protostele is pith is absent, and the pith region is covered by the xylem, and overall it is covered by the phloem. Okay. Now, apart from this, another type is siphonostele. Siphonostele is modulated protonostele. Modulated protonostele means they have pith or medulla because pith is also known as medulla. So they have pith or medulla. Because of this, they are known as modulated protostele. So you can see the innermost is the particularly medulla or pith. It is covered by the xylem and at last covered by the phloem, and outside that you will see the presence of the pericycle. Apart from this, you will find a solenostele. Solenostele is a stele with one or few non-overlapping leaf caps. Means scattered leaf cap is found, then it is known as solenostele. Here you can see phloem is there, central pith is there, xylem is there, and xylem is covered on both surface by the particularly phloem. You can see phloem is, but they have a gap, leaf gap. Here present the presence of gap like this. Okay, then if this leaf cap is present, then it is known as solenostele, and scattered leaf cap are found. The another thing is that dictyostele, and dictyostele is also a type of siphonostele. In this, large number of leaf caps are on dissected siphonostele with overlapping leaf caps. Means this overlapped leaf cap or large number of leaf cap are seen here. So this is dictyostele. Now it is known that this dictyostele, if we talk, this dictyostele occur in case of Dryopteris. It occur in case of Dryopteris and Pteris. And apart from this, if we talk about the previous one, that is solenostele, then we come to know that solenostele is found in case of the adiantum. Okay, so these are the two types of siphonostele in which pith is present. Apart from this, the particularly siphonostele is of more two type, and in this third type in siphonostele we can see that is known as ectophytic siphonostele. Now, ectophytic siphonostele means phloem is on one side of xylem only. Phloem is on one side of xylem only. And if you don't draw a diagram of this siphonostele, then you will see the presence of pith. Pith is surrounded by the particularly xylem, and apart to the xylem you will find the presence of phloem, and apart outside the phloem you will find the presence of pericycle. So pith is present, but phloem is present on only one side. So this is pith, this is xylem, and this is phloem. And this phloem is only on the one side. Okay, and this siphonostele, ectophytic, ecto means outside, is seen in case of osmunda and equisetum. But if you talk about another type, amphiphloic siphonostele, then it is seen in case of the Marsilia. So let's talk about the amphiphloic siphonostele, which is a fourth type. This amphiphloic siphonostele, if we talk, in this xylem is having phloem on its both sides. So here, and this is seen in case of the Marsilia. That is also a fun plant. So here what happens? Pith is present. Pith is surrounded by the xylem. Sorry, phloem. Phloem is surrounded by the xylem, and again the phloem surrounded. Okay. So this is the pith. This is phloem. This is xylem. And outside xylem also you will see the presence of phloem. And outside phloem you will see the presence of pericycle. So here this xylem is particularly surrounded by a phloem on both the side, then it is known as specifically what? Amphiphloic siphonostele. And the example of amphiphloic siphonostele is Marsilia. Okay, dear students. So this is the particular different type of stele with pith and without pith. Okay, so let's talk about some of the MCQs. Pteris belong to which class of pteridophytes? So we have discussed it is the last important evolved class, that is the Pteropsida. Then heterosporous pteridophyte are. So we have to select the example, and two NCERT important example are Selaginella and Salvinia. Okay. Apart from this, stem is underground ribosome in. The stem is in underground ribosome is found in case of the Triopteris and is known as rootstock. Okay. So dear students, here we have completed the classes of pteridophyte. Okay. And some of the types of stele. But stile is usually about stile you will not get mainly questions in Neet, mainly you will get from the classes, so you focus on the classes much more compared to the this stile part. Okay, and general character are most important, which we have discussed in the previous class, that are most important topic with respect to the exam. Okay, so keep in mind and keep on studying very well for your bright future. Okay, thank you, thanks a lot.